Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Dan and Danny Talk Sports podcast. I'm Dan Studer, alongside is my co-host, as always, Danny Gulix. Danny, how you doing this fine Tuesday afternoon?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm ready for work because I gotta work after this. It's kind of unfortunate, but you gotta respect the grind. I mean, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Danny. Go ahead, get your bag. I'm really tired. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't get enough hours of sleep and I woke up early today, but I'm really tired. And
What time did you wake up, Dan?
8.
Not 5 o'clock.
Okay.
What time
Wow.
did you go
Weird
to
flex,
sleep,
but
Dan?
okay.
What time did you go to sleep, Dan?
Probably around maybe 1.
Okay, you had sleep later than me. Never mind. It's
Yeah,
like midnight.
that's what I thought.
Shut up.
Make me. All right. Well, Danny, because of the fact that you're tired today, right now, I'm him. And who's him in the NFL? Well, that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Okay. That was it was a stretch. It was a stretch, but
yeah, it wasn't my best. I couldn't think of how to bring in the him report.
You tried. So as Studer tried to say, this is the him report.
Yep.
And we do this once a week. We do it during our what we will call a recap show of the NFL week. And we talk about people that are on him watch, which means, hey, bro, could be that guy. Could be that guy. The him report, which means, bro, they will be that guy. Give them some time. And then final tier, he's him. He's that guy. Let's talk about him. Let's give him the coverage that he deserves. Not gonna lie, Studer, my list is I'm gonna admit it's a little biased this week.
Oh, Danny, my list is probably more biased than yours. I guarantee it.
I doubt.
Because mine's got bias in more than one way.
Mine has bias in 3 tiers. Every single tier has a Steeler in it, which fair enough.
That's really interesting considering they lost.
We'll talk about it. Don't worry. Do you want me to get into it since I'm already here? Since I'm already talking, we can talk about
yeah, you've got the floor. Go right ahead, Danny. Who is part of your him watch?
So my honorary mention is Damien Pierce, running back, Houston Texans. This is back-to-back weeks where he's had a very good game. I'm just pulling up the stats right now. Want to make sure that I get this right. Damien Pierce, 14 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. 75-yard touchdown, I believe. Crazy. Damien Pierce is very good. He was projected to be very good. Also, 6 receptions for 8 yards. Wow, PPR killer. But Damien Pierce has had a very good stretch of weeks. I know that we talked about him last week. He had like 20 carries for 80 yards or something like that, and a touchdown. And like his usage is just going up and up. He's going above Rex Burkhead in the depth chart. And I was considering moving him to the him alert, but I have 3 guys there that I want to talk about. So whatever. Damien Pierce currently tied for 10th in rushing attempts in the league. He's 10th in rushing yards. He's tied for 10th in rushing touchdowns, and he's 12th in rushing average. So he is efficient. Running backs are come and go in the NFL, but he seems like a good one. You want to give me your honorary mention, Dan?
Yeah, I do. And Danny, I'm actually just going to let you know now, there was somebody else that I wanted to add as who I know is going to be the runner-up for my him alert. So I also now have at least one giant in all 3 tiers.
Nice, as you should.
Of course, no bias there at all.
Actually, before we move on, while we're here, let's talk about this Texans-Chargers game, or whatever we can talk about it. Chargers won convincingly. Austin Eckler, 3 touchdowns. Is that worth mentioning? Absolutely. But anything else? Herbert looked healthier. Not 100% definitely. They only won 34-24, but
340 yards is impressive.
I believe we both got this right in our pick'em.
We did.
So, yeah, not much to talk about with that game. So let's just get that one out of the way while we're here.
Mike Williams too had 120 yards. Good for him.
Mike Williams is very good when Keenan Allen's injured. I just wish he was good when he was not injured.
Well, Danny, the runner-up for my him watch, this goes to Daniel Ballinger.
Okay.
He now, receiving wise, he had 3 receptions for 23 yards on 3 targets, though. So he didn't drop anything, nothing like that. in more ways than one, he deserves to be the runner up for the him watch. He was really good, whether he was the one that was controlling the ball or whether he was blocking. There's really no better way to sum it up than that. If you watch the Giants game when they won 20-12 over Chicago, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But honestly, if I could, I would have the runner up be the entire Giants wide receiver. Tight end room, quite honestly. Tanner Hudson, Daniel Ballinger did great. There's definitely one that I'm thinking missing right now, and I just can't think about it. And I apologize. I can't believe I can't remember his name right now.
I'm trying to find an advanced stat real quick about never mind. Keep going.
Well, Danny, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to give my actual him watch award because we're not moving away from this game. We're staying between the Giants and the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny, we've got another Giant.
Okay.
My him watch goes to Tay Crowder.
Okay.
Tay Crowder has had a really good season. Obviously made an impact week 1 with that really big hit on Derrick Henry against Tennessee in Tennessee. But Danny, just listen to how he did this week against Chicago. 11 total tackles, with 7 of those being solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits.
Very good.
Quite honestly, the rest of the Giants' defensive line kind of ate up Chicago. Jalen Smith also had a good game. 7 total tackles, 6 solos, 1 tackle for loss. Dexter Lawrence too played a really good game. He had 2 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 quarterback hits.
Jesus, Tay Crowder is just very good at football. This is that guy. He can be that guy. I'm not going to say he is that
That's
guy.
why he's just on the him watch. He's off to a really good season so far. I'm really excited to looking forward as to how it progresses the rest of the year.
I'm going to just come out and say it, man, because we're going to be actually, do you want to talk about the Giants game real quick? While we're here, we're on it. We're on the topic. Or do you want
we'll talk about it later.
Okay, because I'm going to talk about the Steelers game.
You do that.
I could promise you that much. My official him watch goes to NFL young boy George Pickens. George Pickens had his best game of his NFL career, which isn't saying much. 6 receptions, 100-something yards. He was 11th in receiving this week. He had 8 targets. That's what I was doing right now. I'm counting up the amount of targets that he has had since Kenny Pickett, that guy, took over at halftime. I'm up to.
And Danny, we called that, by the way.
Yes.
You go back and you look. I asked Danny because I thought this, honestly. I said to Danny, Danny, because I thought that it could have happened. I said, if Pittsburgh is trailing at halftime to the New York Jets, do they bring in Kenny Pickett?
And the answer? Absolutely.
They did.
Kenny Pickett gave George Pickens 5 of his 8 total targets in the game, which is just, that's pretty good, for George Pickens' future. George Pickens just looked like a man among boys, and he's looked like it since the season started, to be honest. He looked like he came in ready to play football. Mitchell Trubisky was like, no. And then Tomlin was like,
no, I don't think I will.
Yeah, Tomlin was like, actually, yes. Put in Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, he brought a spark to the offense. I know I sent this to you, Studer, on Twitter. The amount of drives the Steelers have had this season on offense, 45. 42 of those drives headed by Mitchell Trubisky. 3 of those drives, when I found this tweet, headed by Kenny Pickett. I believe it's 4 of those drives now, headed by Kenny Pickett. 42 drives by Mitchell Trubisky ended in 4 touchdowns for the Steelers offense. 3 drives by Kenny Pickett ended in 2 Steelers touchdowns. That's just, he brought something to that offense. And even Deontay Johnson said he came in with some kind of swagger. They wanted to play more efficient for him. He brought the energy to the field. He's just, he's just making the whole team better. And that's just so nice. And I know we lost to the Jets, and I'll get into the game for a second. We didn't play great. Obviously, we lost to the Jets. We were down 10-6 at halftime, but Kenny Pickett comes in, man, scores a rushing touchdown. I'm screaming Vanilla Vic at the top of my lungs.
That's not Vanilla Vic.
No, he's not, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns, so I don't care. Still screaming.
So did the real Vanilla Vic.
Did I ask? I didn't. For viewers watching at home.
If we weren't filming, I'd use some not nice words right now.
Well, shut up. How about that?
Okay, rude.
Yeah. We're actually not best friends. I actually hate this guy. I'm kidding.
Wow. You
I'm
think you
kidding.
know a guy?
But you don't. No, Kenny Pickett just came in. Obviously, passes, some of them underthrown. I mean, it's bound to happen. He's playing with a lot of nerves. First game in Pittsburgh, crowd wanted him, blood's running. But he was 10 for 13 with 3 interceptions. None of his passes hit the floor. And even PFF, the biggest Steelers haters out there, gave him 0 turnover worthy plays. First pass was, it looked like, a quarterback trying to give his 6'4" receiver a chance to make a play over a 5'9" defensive back. And the receiver decided to catch the ball T-Rex armed instead of long armed. So ended in interception. He threw it to Pat Fryermuth on the sideline, hit Muth in the tip of the fingers. Probably should have thrown that ball away, but regardless, hit Muth in the hands, just off the top of his hands and right into the receiver's pocket. And then the last one was a Hail Mary into the end zone. What? Like, who cares? Who cares? He looks good. He looked solid. He made good plays on the field. He extended plays when he had to. It was good. It was nice. Jets on the other side, Zach Wilson looked better than he looked last season, but he still does not look like a top 30 quarterback. Yeah, they beat the Steelers. Congratulations. So did everybody.
I saw a funny tweet that said that Chase Claypool was 6'4" for no reason.
Literally no reason. Give me the height, bro. I promise I'm making at least one of those catches. Just please.
Sure
I'm trying.
Danny, did you combine your him alert with your him watch there, or
no?
Have you not even? All right, because you
That
talked
was
a
my
lot
him
about
watch.
Kenny Pickett.
I did not put Kenny Pickett in here, and this is why.
Wow.
We got 13 pass attempts out of him. I want to see more. Steelers named him the starter officially moving forward. But if you want my him alert, I guess I'll give it to you. I guess. Another Steeler.
Well, is this your runner-up or is your winner?
This is I think they're all tied.
Okay.
It's a 3-way tie. Can you tell me, Daniel Suter, off the top of your head, who's leading the league in sacks right now? Doesn't have to be on the Steelers. Just a name that makes sense to you.
I mean, I would want to guess Aaron Donald.
No, it is currently Nick Bosa with 6. But in second place, there's one lone man with 5.5. And his name is Alex Highsmith. Steelers outside linebacker. This is his 3rd year. And everybody is saying it in the Steelers organization. This is his breakout. And I've been waiting for it, man. He came in to take that Bud Dupree role, and 5.5 sacks, and most of them with TJ Watt out. You cannot give me the double team excuse that the offensive line is looking at TJ the whole time. Because TJ's not there. Cam Hayward left the game for a minute, and Alex Highsmith got a sack. Alex Highsmith is going to be a very good player in the league. A very, very good edge threat in the league. And I'm enjoying watching him, man. I'm having a fun time watching Alex Highsmith play football. You want to give me one of your him alerts, Sir Daniel?
I would love to. I wish I was able to pull up more this person's actual advanced stats, but unfortunately, I'm unable to get them. So I won't have a lot of stats to talk about. I'm just going to talk about their performance that they did against one player. Yeah, we're going to stick with Chicago and New York.
Chicago.
My runner-up for him alert is going to be Andrew Thomas. We kind of talked about Andrew Thomas in one of our last couple of episodes it was our week 3 review, because we were talking about how bad of a performance Evan Neal had against Dallas and talking about how it's just a rookie struggle. We saw the same thing out of Andrew Thomas back in 2020. But Andrew Thomas just absolutely smacked Robert Quinn this game. Did not let him get anywhere near Daniel Jones.
Could you, off the top of your head, do you know how many sacks Andrew Thomas has allowed this season? Because I do. He's
I don't
played.
know. off the top of my
He's
head.
played every offensive snap for the Giants. Every single one. Not missed one.
See, I was trying to,
He's given up 1 sack.
which I'll take.
1 sack. That is amazing. He is
I'll
the
take-
highest graded PFF offensive lineman in the league right now. That is so good, dude. Like he is really showing out right now. He's showing why he was a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
He was he was 3? He was 3rd pick?
maybe. He could have been 5, honestly.
I think he was 3rd. I'm gonna just Google it really quick.
The 2020 draft, because this was the same year that a lot of Giants fans thought that they were going to take, I forget his name, but Arizona wound up taking him.
I'm on Wikipedia. He was 4. And they wanted them to take Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons, right. And Arizona took him, right?
Yes, sir. Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Jeff Okudah to the Lions, and Andrew Thomas. Jeff Okudah, I really did want to talk about because he's had a very good start to the season. But could not. Do you want to? You only have 2 for this game, correct?
No, I
for
got
this
coming out of this
for-
game.
Oh no, I meant for Himmler. Excuse me.
Himmler, I do have another. I have my actual who the Himmler is. Andrew Thomas is just the runner-up, but
I
my
have 2
actual
more. Do you want me to
Himmler-
give you my other runner-up? I've decided who my winner for Himmler is.
Okay, I know who my winner is.
I'll give my runner-up, my second runner-up, because this guy deserves some talking. This team that he plays for won a game this week, and it was their first game that they've
somebody
won
from Vegas.
all season. They are a running back.
Oh, is it Josh Jacobs?
It is Josh Jacobs, man. 28 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns, and this is not an out of the blue kind of game for Josh Jacobs so far this year. He's 7th in attempts, 5th in rushing yards, tied. He has 2 rushing touchdowns on the season, both in this game. But he averages 4.8 yards a carry, which is kind of wild. He had 13 attempts last week for an average of 5 per for 66 yards. He had 19 attempts the week before for 69, not great, but he had 10 attempts week 1 for 57. I mean, it looks like the Raiders offense just finally figured out, hey, Josh Jacobs is quite obviously better than Brandon Bolden, who was getting a lot of snaps. And they were like, yeah, let's use him. Let's use him. And he played very good, and he deserves the shine, man. That's all. You want to talk about this Raiders first win? Because I don't have anything else to talk about the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs was kind of the standout player here. I don't really have anything else to say about this game.
They let Russ cook. Russ played solid. I'm happy I didn't drop him in fantasy because he had like 27 fantasy points. Granted, it was on my bench, but now he could be a trade asset. So
I don't know about that. One game. Let's chill.
Hey, shout out Nick, man. Nick wants him. But nah, it was a good game. The AFC West matchups are going to be fun all year. Start your offensive players when the AFC West plays against each other. If you have any players in those games, start them. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about from this game. Javonte Williams. Yeah, nah, I'm still in shock. I'm still trying to get over the fact that my RB1 in 2 fantasy leagues is down for the season with a torn ACL. And outside of fantasy, it hurts the Broncos offense a lot because now their starter, at least what it looks like right now, is Melvin Gordon, a running back who's fumbled 4 times in his last 50-something odd attempts, which he's fumbled the most in the league. And 3 of them were last week and 1 was this week. It's not looking good. They were probably going to cut him, and now they have to use him. But it looks like Mike Boone's going to get some run, but we just really hope that Javonte has a very quick and very, very good recovery. I was going to use another word, completely forgot it.
Speedy? Speedy?
Nah, it was a synonym for good, but whatever. We
All
want him to be healthy as fast as possible. It was a great young running back in his second year. Looked like he was going to pick up a huge load this year, and man, injuries suck. We don't like injuries. Boo, boo, boo.
Well, do you have any other runner-up for your him alert?
I do not. I only have my winner.
All right. Well, you just finished talking about your other runner-up. I'm going to talk about my actual winner for the him alert.
Mm-hmm.
This is where more bias comes into play. Danny, I'm going to go Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders had 27 carries for 134 yards, averaging 5 yards a carry with 2 touchdowns.
Jesus.
I have been saying this ever since his rookie year. Miles Sanders is a good running back. The reason why I feel like he doesn't get enough touches because it's either Jalen throwing it or Jalen scrambling and running himself.
Yeah, and Miles Sanders is not a receiving back.
Right, but the Eagles have that line that Sanders can be useful. He just
100%.
he doesn't get the opportunity to.
He does not. And I mean, my bias also kept him off this list because I don't want him to be very good this year because I traded him. That's how I got Devontae Adams. But nah, I like Miles Sanders. I think he's a very good running back, very usable. But I'm surprised your bias didn't put this guy on the list, but mine definitely will. My him alert is a guy who's had a rough past couple seasons. Came into the league hot, one of the best players at his position. Underwhelming second year, underwhelming third year, but he's back, baby. He is back. And it's the Hawk. It's TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson came to the league hot. He kind of fell off. I mean, he was just kind of a flake, especially to start the season. I mean, let's take this game with a grain of salt. It was 48-45, almost 100 total points scored. But you got to say something about TJ Hawkinson having 8 receptions for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. That's like 40 fantasy points.
Thanks, Hawk. Yeah, you know what? I can tell you how many that I got out of him. I can give you that 39.9. So basically 40 points from Hawk.
Mm-hmm. I told you to start him.
I was about to say I gotta thank you because in the last episode I asked you just if I started Hawk or Muth, and you said Hawk.
Because I started Muth, not over Hawk. I don't have both of them in the same league, but Hawk played very good. I do have high hopes for TJ Hawkinson in the future. I think he can be one of the premier tight ends, if not in the league. Like, you know, there's good tight ends in the league that aren't good in fantasy, but also he can be very good in fantasy. He's gonna get a lot of targets, especially from Jared Goff. Jared Goff always likes to target his quarterback. But
Jared Goff always likes to target his quarterback.
End,
yep. I love
it. Who does like to target their quarterback? The best quarterback on the Jets, Braxton Berrios. Threw a passing touchdown to Zach Wilson.
I thought you were gonna go with Mariota. So that play that he threw it and caught it himself.
Scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this game, bro. Scoreagami. The only game to ever end 48-45.
What is it? 1073rd unique final score.
Yes, sir. Jared Goff has been the quarterback for 3 of the top 20 highest scoring NFL games ever.
Oh boy. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I mean, he didn't play bad. 26 for 39, 378 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick.
He averaged 9.7. So he basically, every time he threw the ball, you were getting a first down.
I mean, dude, Jamal Williams, 19 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Craig Reynolds even had 30 yards rushing on 15 yards per. But on the other side of the ball, Geno Smith, bro, 23 for 30, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns.
No interceptions.
No interceptions. Rashad Penny, 17 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. Geno Smith, also 50 yards on the ground. Crazy. This was a great game. Highlight of the game for me, DK Metcalf getting carted off to poop.
To take a poop.
Shout out DK for being fully honest, man. He said the clinch walk would not have gotten him to the locker room, and fair enough, man. We've all been there. Let's get into He's Him. Do you have a runner up for He's Him?
I do. I just want to pull up the stats from this game. Okay. My He's Him, Danny. Runner up. My He's Him runner up comes from across the pond. The game that ended with a double doink.
I think I know where you're going, man. We talked about him in the last episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna continue to talk because you talked about him. I didn't, so I get to talk about him again. Justin Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
10 receptions for 147 yards, no touchdowns, but 13 targets, 10 catches. He had that 41-yard reception as well. I mean, yeah, Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. I don't really know what else to say about him. He hit a nice gritty in London.
Rushing touchdown. Crazy.
Oh, right. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, rushing touchdown.
Nah, he's played good, bro. I mean, it's Justin Jefferson. Like, he is him.
That's
He's
right.
that.
I forgot that was technically a rushing and not a receiving.
He's
That's
a
why I
straight
was
play,
very
yeah.
confused.
Do you want me to give mine?
Your runner-up? Yeah.
No, I don't have a runner-up.
Oh, you don't have a runner-up.
I don't have a runner-up. Not this week. Nope.
All right, tell me who your he's him is then.
Let us put some respect on the second best safety in the league, named Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'll be honest. I'm not going to be biased. Derwin James is a better safety than Minkah. Derwin James is crazy. However, Minkah Fitzpatrick was one of the lowest rated PFF safeties in the league last year, which is blasphemy. Horrible. They are playing Minkah exactly where he should be played, in the middle of the field. I was going to say in the box, but that's kind of not really what I meant. In the middle of the field, man. Let him roam. Let him make plays. Minkah only had one pick this game. That is until you really watch, because like I have some pictures. There was a play where Zach Wilson, he's getting pressured, wants to throw the ball away. Minkah deciding, hey man, why not try to make a play for this ball? Let me turn my brightness down just a little bit.
These poor audio listeners, they won't have any idea what you're talking about.
So, audio listeners, Zach Wilson tries to throw this ball out. It's about 2.5, 3 yards out of bounds. Minkah decides, hey, bro, let me lay out for it. Let me just try to catch it. He catches it, drags the feet. Here's another angle for you watching on YouTube. Both feet clearly on the ground. He has possession of the ball, inbounds. They just call it dead. They just say, he's out of bounds. Didn't have possession. Steelers decide not to challenge. It's not really worth a challenge. But that would have been his second pick. Jets go on, scored touchdown on this specific drive. Minkah, yes, and Steelers lose.
Wow, that's gotta make. I'm sorry, that's gonna make Mike Tomlin look really bad.
I mean, it's a tough call. You don't challenge. I mean, I think we should have challenged it. Did we challenge it? We might have challenged it. I don't know. I don't really remember a lot of that game because I'm mad that we lost to the Jets. But besides the point, Jets go down, score a touchdown on the drive. Minkah, for the rest of the game, he's just about 2 steps away from another pick. Ball gets batted in the air. Minkah's about a step away from a pick. Ball gets thrown. Minkah's about 2 steps away from the pick. Ball gets thrown. Minkah hits him in the fingertip. Deflection. Not a pick. Like, Minkah is just everywhere on the field, and he is, when you give him the ability to roam, he's probably the best ball hawk in the league. He is undoubtedly him. And if you try to doubt that Minkah is him, I will doubt your football knowledge. Just like if you try to tell me that Kenny Pickett's 3 interceptions were all bad, I will doubt your football knowledge. That's it. That's all I have to say. Steelers hell. I'm still salty, but whatever. And I made a promise last week. I don't care who the Steelers play for the rest of the season until they win a game. I'm not picking them.
Even if it's the Texans.
Even if it's the Texans, unless the Steelers miraculously beat, which this is going to be a tangent. It's not going to be a long one. Steelers always find a way to beat good teams. Shut up. He's fake sleeping. That's mean. Steelers always find a way to beat good teams. It happens every year. And then we lose to bad teams, and it hurts. It hurts my heart. So if we figured out a way to beat the Bills next week, I'd be shocked. I might have an aneurysm because how do we lose to the Jets and beat the Bills in back-to-back weeks? But I don't think I'd be as shocked as a lot of people would be. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not taking them. Absolutely not taking them. But will I throw maybe like $5 on Steelers money line? If I were 21, yeah, I would, because probably the payout would be crazy. But I'm not 21, so I won't.
Well, Danny, I guess that brings this to my he's him award.
Give it to him.
Give me all the bias. The running back out of Penn State University that plays for your New York Football Giants, known quarterback Saquon Barkley. Oh, man, Saquon had a great game. 31 carries for 146 yards, 2 receptions for 16 yards. I mean, and the fact that he took over at one point, this man was the quarterback. This man was the quarterback. I'm sorry, can we talk about that? It wasn't Daniel Jones taking snaps. It wasn't Tyrod Taylor taking snaps. Saquon Barkley in the shotgun taking snaps. I can't get over that. I love it so much.
It was crazy. That was a wild time for a football fan.
I love it as much as you can. Definitely the fact that the Giants were winning this game is something obviously that makes it a little bit more enjoyable. If we were losing to Chicago and Saquon had to be taking snaps, I'd definitely be sitting on the couch getting all pissy and pouting. But
like the alliteration.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I like the alliteration. Pissy and pouting.
But yeah, Daniel Jones too, before he leaves the game with, I think it's a sprained ankle, 8 for 13. But we're not talking about his game passing. We're talking about his game rushing. 68 yards on 6 carries, 2 touchdowns. This man had a 21-yard rush too. That's Vanilla Vic. Love you, Bengal. That's Vanilla Vic.
Shout out Mama County.
Merch link in his description. Vanilla Vic.
I feel like we don't give any kind of sponsor as much as we do to Bengal's YouTube channel. We got to rep out our Monmouth County boys.
So, Danny, because I know sometimes you like it when we ask each other these questions, would you like to take a guess how many rushing yards combined the New York Giant quarterbacks had?
Are we including Saquon Barkley in the New York Giants?
No, we're not. We're not including Saquon with this.
Let me go 85.
98.
I was close.
I said earlier, Jones had 68 and Tyrod Taylor had 30.
Daniel Jones has wheels. He is statistically the fastest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I don't know who Michael Vick is.
Nah, fastest rush ever recorded.
I don't know who Lamar Jackson is either.
Doesn't ring
a bell.
Nah, names aren't speaking to me.
Yeah, that guy could ever win an MVP.
Dude, he's a running back. Stop.
Yeah, he's a running back.
He's a running back. Can't throw the football. He's totally not leading the league in every statistical passing stat. He's not, but.
But let's talk about, Danny, the unfortunate news as to what brought Saquon into being the quarterback. So Daniel Jones goes down with that ankle injury. In comes Tyrod Taylor. I don't know the exact numbers of snaps, but if he went 1 for 3 and had 3 rushing, 3 carries, I'm assuming it's only 6 snaps. He really wasn't in there for a while. He gets concussed on his final carry. And then, at one point, I don't even know if Daniel Jones was on the field, honestly. I don't know if there was a snap in which he wasn't on the field, but I know that he was lining up next to the sideline. He was lining up as a wide receiver. I forget who said this. It might have been Art Stapleton, but it actually kind of makes sense as to why he was lining up on the sideline versus taking the snaps and just handing it off to Saquon or Matt Breida. He's able to still hear the plays from the sideline and then get them into the huddle. And he's also got the helmet, with the,
speaker.
With the speaker, thank you. Being told what plays. He's the messenger, really. Yeah. But then eventually Jones did get back, I think, into the shotgun formation. It was just handing it off to Saquon. So the fact, though, that the Giants were able to be as successful on those drives, I don't know the exact drives or I don't know the exact amount that they had, how many rushing yards, but the fact that Chicago knew they're not passing, they're only running, and they still had times couldn't stop them. Saquon Barkley getting 4 yards, Brian Dable and Mike Kafka may as well have told Chicago, hey, we're not passing, we're running, so get ready. To get 4 yards on that just goes to show how good Saquon is.
Yeah, I agree. Saquon is genuinely one of the best running backs in the league.
Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about from this game, because obviously this is the last probably that we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
Richie James started him in fantasy, got me negative 0.1.
You're welcome.
He had
one
reception on 3 targets for 9 yards. But one of the big reasons as to why he had that negative point was he had that fumble.
I agree. All right, let's talk a little bit about these games that we didn't really talk about. Vikings Saints was an absolute bloodbath at Jack the Ripper's stadium.
Bloody hell.
Literally. Oi, bruv, we got a nice football game in it.
We'll have to talk about it on today on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, in it, bruv.
Sipping on a bottle of water.
So
many people hate us right now.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. No, it was a good game. I'm not sorry. It was a good game. I chose the Vikings to win. I obviously got the win.
As did I.
It was fun. What do you expect when Andy Dalton starting at quarterback? Nothing good. And Alvin Kamara surprised DNP for a lot of people that were not up at 9:30 in the morning to set their lineups. So that's cool. Next game was Browns Falcons. I chose the Falcons to win. I was correct.
I chose the Browns. I was incorrect.
Good.
It was a close game though. 3-point difference.
3-point difference. I started 4 Falcons players in one fantasy league, and none of them gave me points.
All right, let me guess.
If you don't get them all.
Oh no, I know who they are. Yeah, Mariota, Patterson, London, and where's the tight end? Hold on, Pitts.
Yes, started all of them. But hey, bro, maybe Mariota is a pretty good stream. That was wrong. He had like 5 points. Next was Commanders versus Cowboys. The Cowboys won. I don't
get how you picked Washington to win this game. I really don't.
I'm not even gonna lie. I just like Washington. That's why I picked them. That's the only reason. I mean,
my favorite point of this game was that Jahan Dotson had the lone touchdown for Washington.
Jahan Dotson had the lone touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had a great game. Let's move on before I get sad. We already talked about Seahawks Lions. Let's talk about Titans Colts. I picked Colts. I was wrong.
I also picked the Colts. I mean, the Colts are just one of the most inconsistent and unpredictable teams. Really,
call it what it is. Disappointing.
Derrick Henry, was this his first time breaking 100 this season?
I believe it was.
22 carries for 114 yards and a touchdown.
Had himself a game. A game.
You know who didn't? Jonathan Taylor. You know who's getting really disappointing in fantasy, quite honestly? Jonathan Taylor.
My trade still stands. My trade's still there. Nick Chubb, Drake London, and a first.
I want to see this really quickly because this was somebody that a lot of people were saying that I shouldn't have taken. Let's see. He's giving me, so Clyde Edwards-Helaire has put up more fantasy points this season than Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, he has. A lot of people are saying Jonathan Taylor is that the Browns fullback. Forget who it was. Remember that year that the Browns had like all the injuries, and they had like a fullback was their best player. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name.
How long ago was this?
I'm gonna see his name and I'm gonna get so mad. He was on the cover of.
Oh, you're talking about the guy who was on the cover of Madden 12?
Yes.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
I'm literally looking. Peyton Hillis, that's his name. A lot of people are saying Jonathan Taylor is Peyton Hillis, and it makes me laugh because obviously he's not, but maybe he is. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna try to trade for Jonathan Taylor in 90% of my fantasy leagues because his value is.
Yeah, but you got to give me somebody that didn't just tear his ACL.
I offered you Nick Chubb. I'm pretty sure Nick Chubb had more fantasy points this week than Jonathan Taylor's had all season. Obviously a joke.
Moving on.
Next, we already talked about Giants Bears. Jags Eagles was a lot closer than either one of us would have predicted. The Jaguars.
Also, hold on, Danny, really quickly. I forgot to say this. I want to give a quick shout out to the Giants defense. They didn't let Chicago find the end zone once. They let Chicago into the red zone 3 times, and all 3 times Chicago only left with 3 points. So shout out to Wink Martindale for doing a really great job of the defense this season. I love to see it.
Yeah,
let me see if I can find actually really quickly. I know I sent it in a group chat. So the Giants defensive rankings in total of scoring, they're allowing 17.8 points per game, which is 9th best in the league. The passing defense is at 191.3 yards per game. That's 8th. Let's not talk about the rush, though. 141 yards per game, which is 28th in the league. Jesus. But quite honestly, here's the thing, though. The Giants have been letting up those big runs, but they're not finding – these teams aren't finding the end zone. I talked about it last week with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard had like that 40-yard rush, and guess what? Dallas only walked away with 3 points. So the fact that they're able, that's literally the definition of bend don't break.
No, they've been able to convert when they needed to. But Jaguars scored 2 early touchdowns in Philly against the only undefeated team left in the league. Philly said, "Yeah, that was cute."
Scored 20. I love that. Jacksonville puts up 14 and Philadelphia answers with 20.
Yep. Jalen Hurts definitely did not have a great game. But who cares? They won. And we both got it right.
We did indeed.
Game of the week was Bills Ravens. Ravens had a 20-10 lead, and
I can't get over this, Danny. I might have to buy a Josh Allen jersey, honestly. I'm really high on Josh Allen. I really like him as a quarterback. I think he's just a great guy in general, too, until, somebody deep dives onto his Twitter and finds something really, horrible, or unless he's secretly a serial killer. I love Josh Allen.
Going on Josh Allen's Twitter right now.
I can't believe Baltimore had a 20. They let up 20 unanswered points. It's crazy. They were 14-3 at the end of the first, and they lose this game 23-20. Now, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is getting a lot of crap for not taking his 3 points there. And quite honestly, he had this explanation at the end of the game. Danny, did you hear it?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know it exactly, but basically, if he goes for those 3 points, obviously with Justin Tucker, you're probably going to be making it. And you're probably going to be taking that lead. Mm-hmm. That turns the game from a 3-down. That changes it from a 3-down game to a 4-down game, which kind of makes sense. You're almost handing Buffalo an opportunity to convert on 4th down. Mm-hmm. While the game is tied, Buffalo is less likely to go for it on 4th down, but if they're trailing, they're obviously going to go for it. And with Buffalo's offense, maybe it was actually kind of the right move. His explanation was actually really smart, and when you really think about it, it does make a lot of sense. Is it unfortunate that Baltimore wasn't able to come out with the win? Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? You can't blame Jim Harbaugh for not going for 3 there when Baltimore put up 6 points between the second and third quarter. Yeah, actually, I guess, and the but of course, the 3 points would have been their only points in the fourth quarter. So I guess, the entire rest of the fourth quarter, don't let this game come down to just, not going for a field goal when your defense absolutely collapsed starting in the second quarter.
Yeah, no, I agree, obviously. But we had a pretty good pick for game of the week. I mean, Ravens were up 20-10 and they lost 20-23. So, I mean, that's
not even 20-10. They're up 20-3, right? Or was
we're up 23.
Yeah, it was 23. They scored. Yeah, Buffalo scored 20 unanswered points.
You are correct. We talked about Chargers Texans a little bit. Cardinals Panthers was what you expect. Kyler Murray undefeated when Call of Duty does not have a double XP weekend.
McCaffrey did play. Had a really big day receiving over rushing.
McCaffrey did have a pretty solid game. I'm trying to have this pulled up to where I can see player stats without clicking on the game, because that'd be glorious, because that just takes so much loading time.
Well, while you do that, McCaffrey, 9 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. And on the ground, 8 carries for 27 yards.
Yeah. Hollywood Brown, another big game, 6 receptions, 88 yards and a touchdown. Next game was.
Remember, you almost picked Carolina.
I did almost pick Carolina. I had Carolina written down.
DJ Moore actually put up double-digit points in fantasy this week.
Did he actually?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you should have played him. Never listen to me again.
I should have put him instead of Richie James. Granted, I don't blame myself because with no Shep, no Wandale, no Kadarius Toney, I wasn't expecting him to, favor the tight ends as much as he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, DJ Moore had 12.10 points.
Okay. Next game was Packers Patriots. Nothing out of the ordinary besides Aaron Rodgers going to overtime against the third string quarterback. Bailey Zapp, first rookie quarterback to score a passing touchdown this year. Just how we drew it up.
Vampy.
But
wait, I'm sorry, what was that stat?
Bailey Zapp, first rookie quarterback to throw a passing touchdown this season.
right?
Crazy, right? He was like a
Because
fourth.
I'm pretty sure this was the first season in like years in which there wasn't a rookie quarterback that started week 1.
I believe so. Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis was the first one to get into a game, but he got into a game because it was a blowout.
Right.
Next game, Broncos Raiders. We talked about Chiefs Bucks. I saw.
Oh, really? Hold on, really quickly. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to say it too when we do our week 5 pick'ems. If the New England Patriots can take the Green Bay Packers to overtime, late into overtime too, I don't see why the New York Giants can't give them a fair fight too.
Are you riding the high?
Maybe a little. Danny, realistically, I mean,
Giants defenses look good.
I mean, sure. I mean, I won't lie. Aaron Jones scares me. I just read that earlier about, oh, by the way, that stat was courtesy of Talking Giants. I got to give them credit where credit is due. I love Bobby Skinner, Justin Pennick. Like I said, the rushing, they give up about 141 yards per game. Aaron Jones might walk all over the New York Giants, but I don't know. The Giants have a good pass rush. Maybe Leonard Williams is back. Maybe Azeez Ojulari also had a good game against Chicago too. Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm still waiting for him to take that first step up. Kayvon Thibodeau actually had that really heads up smart play for being the only person that jumped on that fumble from Justin Fields.
It's going to take time, but he will turn. He will be very good. But
I do miss the big cat, Leonard Williams.
I think all of the Giants fans are missing Leonard Williams right now. I know you sent me a stat for the Chiefs Bucks game. I believe it was that the Chiefs Bucks was only 2.5 points shy of the over under in the first half alone. The final score is 41-31. It's Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. What were you doing on a Sunday night besides watching that or being asleep? Those were your only options on a Sunday night. Don't watch nothing else.
Right. You know what? I want to really quickly, Danny, because I think you know which one I'm about to read. I got to give a quick shout out to the queen of stats herself, Katie Sharp. She does a lot with John Boy Media. She works a lot with Jake and Jimmy on Talking Yanks. Saquon Barkley has 463 rushing yards this season. That's the most rushing yards by a Giants player in their first 4 games of season in franchise history.
That's very crazy. That's a crazy stat.
And the Giants at one point had Brandon Jacobs.
That's a crazy stat.
Solid stat. Thank you, Katie Sharp.
Thank you, Katie Sharp. Shout out. And finally, last game, Monday Night Football, Rams-Niners. I believe we both got this wrong.
We did, and I believe we both were up on Monday. I was saying this to you earlier. I was saying to Danny right before we started recording. I was like getting ready for work on Monday. And as I'm getting ready, I'm like, you know what? I even have the Niners defense. I was like, I think the Niners defense can stop the Rams offense. I should have switched. Especially with honestly, even if Trey Lance was starting this game, I probably would have picked the Rams, but with it being Jimmy G, I should have gone with the Niners.
Before this game, the last 13 games for the Rams, Cooper Kupp scored a touchdown in 12 of them. So I was like, yeah, Cooper Kupp scoring a touchdown, almost guaranteed. Nah, nope. No, sorry.
Still put up 20 points in fantasy, I believe.
Oh, dude, it's Cooper Kupp. 14 receptions, 122 yards.
Triple Crown winner.
26 points without a touchdown. Crazy.
That actually crazy.
The boy Jeffrey Wilson led the game in rushing yards, 74 yards, and a big old tutty. But yeah, no. 56-yard rushing touchdown. Debo taking it to the crib. For me, highlight of the week is the Giants' beautiful, beautiful throwback jerseys.
Oh, they were sick.
They were beautiful.
The end zones too. The end zones look so cool.
Steelers, if your front office is currently listening.
Although we highly doubt it.
Nah, you're listening. Cut Gunnar Olszewski. He's currently averaging 7 yards per punt return and has he's muffed, not even fumbled, muffed 2 of them. He was an all-pro returner last year, averaging 7 yards per return, muffed 2 punts, and has at least 2 other fumbles. Cut him. Trade back for Ray McLeod. This did not happen with Ray McLeod. Anything else you want to talk about? You want to get into a little bit of fantasy?
Yeah, I really do want to talk about fantasy.
You're riding a high on your first win of the season.
Just like the Las Vegas Raiders, I am no longer winless as my record goes from 0-3 to 1-3. Danny, how many points did you put up in fantasy in our Dynasty League?
You're looking at it, man. I was last, 94. You want to hear my team? You want to hear how my team did this week?
Yeah. Let's hear how you, and then we'll talk about my game.
I would. My quarterback, Marcus Mariota, less than 5 points. My running back 1, Javonte Williams. We know how that turned out. 3.7. Prayers up. Get better soon. RB2, Nick Chubb, almost 21 points, just shy. Wide receiver 1, DK, almost 22 points. Beautiful. Had to go take a poop. Sad. Drake London, 3.7. Kyle Pitts, 3.5. Cordell Patterson, 9.8. Now he's on IR. AJ Dillon, 9.4. Boswell, 12. Steelers, D5. Would have been nice if Among Us St. Brown played. But I lost to a guy who started Michael Thomas and Dalton Schultz. 2 players who combined for 0. He also played Zeke, who had 10. He also played Juju, who had 9.6. So would have been nice. That guy was also winless before this week. And now I started 2-0, and now I'm 2-2.
Well, Danny, my fantasy team put up 201.62 points. Man, oh man, I really wanted to drop 200. I really wanted to drop 200, and I'm very glad. Thank you to the Rams. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, thanks to the Rams offense for sucking to the Niners defense.
Shout out to
but yeah,
let's to start TJ Hawkinson.
Thanks, Danny. My starting quarterback, Josh Allen, 24 points.
Trade me
You
Josh
already know,
Allen
John.
for free. Trade me Josh Allen for free.
Absolutely not. We obviously know Jonathan Taylor only put up 3 points. Clyde Edwards-Helaire put up 22. T. Higgins, Thursday Night Football, gave me 25. Said it earlier, Richie James gave me negative 0.1 thanks to that fumble. Hawk gave me 39.9. Danny, you talked about him earlier. Josh Jacobs gave me 34.8. Brandon Cooks finally looked like Brandon Cooks. He gave me 18.7. Tyler Bass had 11 points. The kicker from Buffalo had 11 points. And then, of course, rounding me out, the Niners defense with 22 points.
I think the saddest part about your matchup, absolute saddest part, is that the guy you played against scored 151. He would have beat every single other team this week. But he played you.
I'd also like to mention the bench. It's good to have depth. I had 4 people on my bench that put up 12 or more points. DJ Moore and Godwin both finishing with 12, finishing with 1210 and 1290. Pat Fryermuth finishing with 15.5, and Alan Lazard finishing with 17.6.
I want to point out something real quick. My taxi squad this week consisted of Dan Ballinger, who would have outscored Kyle Pitts, and Jalen Warren, who would have been half a point shy of tying Javonte Williams. 2 guys who I started. The 2 guys who were my first 2-round picks were practically outscored by taxi squad people. Sad face.
You know what, Danny? I'll give you a good word of advice for free. Take Bellinger off of that taxi list.
Who will I drop for him though?
That's up to you. Is there anything else in terms of how are you looking like for next week? Are you projected to win or are you projected to lose?
My next week projections aren't up yet, but it's most likely not looking good unless Amon-Ra plays, because my starting running backs are Ramondre Stevenson and Nick Chubb, which aren't horrible because Nick Chubb
right
is
now I'm
currently
projected to win by 2.
RB1. My projections aren't up currently.
Weird. I'm able to see my projections for the whole season.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Actually, right now week 7. I'm supposed to lose to you 119 to 99, but I'm sure that I've got a couple of people. Yeah, I've got no quarterback in right now because Buffalo has a bye week as well as my kicker.
Bro, how do you check? What?
Go to matchup.
Yeah.
You see how it says for you?
I'm a
probably
dummy.
supposed to speak 4. Yeah, you are.
I'm projected to lose. Isn't that great?
That's great.
I'm playing Chris, who's projected to beat me by 40. Wow. Well, he has Jalen Hurts, Joe Mixon, James Conner. Oh, that's the kicker. Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Mike Williams.
And Danny, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about this on the pick'ems for week 5, but I believe week 5 is the last week where there's no bye weeks.
I believe so. I believe you're correct. Anything you want to talk about outside of football? Any Yanks news?
Yeah. I want to. What was that?
Any Yanks news?
Yeah, I want to talk baseball for a little bit, just a little bit. Aaron Judge is still on the hunt for home run number 62. He didn't get it in his first game in Arlington yesterday in Globe Life Field, home of the Texas Rangers, but he'll have another shot today. Actually, they have a doubleheader today. Thank you for reminding me, Danny.
Watch some baseball.
2 games against Texas, and then obviously Wednesday in the afternoon closes out the season. Garrett Cole. All Garrett Cole needs, Danny, is 1 strikeout, and he passes Ron Guidry, Louisiana Lightning, for the most strikeouts by a Yankee in a single season. I believe it was Guidry's either 77 or 78 season when he set that record, and it's held ever since.
Jesus.
But quick little playoff picture. Danny, 2 of the longest playoff droughts in baseball are over. Seattle has clinched.
Yes.
Seattle hasn't been in the playoffs since 2001. Shout out Kens. Probably not listening, at least not this far. Love you, Kens. Go M's. Go. Good for you.
Better be listening. Just got a shout out. What? We're only an hour in. We got 3 hours left in us.
You know what? You got work.
Yeah, I got work in 30 minutes.
And the Philadelphia Phillies have clinched for the first time since 2011. So now the 2 teams with the longest playoff drought belong to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And Danny, do you have a guess?
Could you tell me what year they missed?
I believe it's now 2012. 2012 was the last time they made it. I believe it was Bob Nightingale who's tweeted this. So I'm just going to go double check.
You said the first one was who?
The first one was the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Is it the Oakland A's?
It's not the Oakland A's. It is the Detroit Tigers.
My next guess was going to be the Pirates.
Pirates actually made it, I believe, as the wild card in 2015.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was also.
I think they lost that game
years ago.
It's crazy to think.
Crazy.
But yeah, so a little playoff situation. Danny, who am I right now?
That'll do it for this podcast. Thank you. The New York Mets. Yeah, we had a 10.5.
Yeah, choking the division away.
We had a 10.5 game lead on the division, bro.
I'm sorry?
We had a 10.5 game lead on the division.
Danny, it was longer than that at one point.
Was it really?
It was. Let's see. The New York Mets spent total 175 days in first place.
Nice.
Their biggest lead? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right. Maybe that was the Yankees that I'm thinking of. Their biggest lead was 10.5 games.
I know my stuff. What's up?
And Atlanta just came out of nowhere. I shouldn't say that they came out of nowhere because obviously the reigning World Series champions don't come out of nowhere, but I will say that they snuck up on them. And so right now, here's what the playoff situation is looking like with the wild card. So the playoffs are set, by the way. We have our 12 teams.
Beautiful.
It's for the American League, we have the division leaders of the Astros, the Yankees, and the Guardians. Mm-hmm. And the wild card is currently held by the Blue Jays, the Mariners, and the Rays. In the National League, we have the NL leaders. We have the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Cardinals. And the wild card, which is currently being held by the Mets, the Padres, and the Phillies. So the magic number for the Braves, they need to just win 1 game, or New York needs to lose just 1 game, and they officially clinch the NL East, and the Mets will get the top seed of the wild card. San Diego has a 1-game lead right now on Philadelphia. So San Diego with a win today and a Philadelphia loss will give. Actually, no, I think it's got to be both. So it's a San Diego win and a Philadelphia loss clinches them the 5 seed in the National League wild card. Same thing going on with Seattle and Tampa Bay over in the American League. Seattle currently has a 1.5 game lead over Tampa. If Seattle wins today and Tampa loses, Seattle will clinch that number 5, while Tampa sits at number 6.
Beautiful.
I'm really excited for postseason baseball, Danny.
Aren't you always?
Oh, I want to go back to football really quickly because I forgot to talk about this. When I was talking about the injuries to Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jeremy Fowler. Now, I think Daniel Jones is going to be good to play in London next week. He's day to day. But Jeremy Fowler tweeted out today, free agent quarterback Jake Fromm is among Giants workouts today.
You see who met with the Giants yesterday?
Former Giant Landon Collins.
Nope, not the one I'm talking about. Another
he
former
didn't
Giant.
meet with them. He didn't. I saw reports that he didn't actually meet with them with meeting with the team. He was just kind of checking to make sure that his former LSU teammate Sterling Shepard was okay. Odell Beckham Jr. did not have any sort of tryout with the Giants. Landon Collins did, though.
I'm not talking about a tryout, but according to Bleacher Report, he met with the team. Wouldn't that be crazy?
He didn't meet with the team. He met with Sterling Shepard.
Wouldn't that be crazy, though? Sorry, meeting a pistachio. Moment.
It would. No, honestly, I would take Odell Beckham Jr. Come week 7, week 8, when he's finally going to be ready to play again. Mm-hmm. I'll bet you if the Giants signed Odell Beckham Jr., he makes more of an impact than Kenny Golladay has.
I can agree.
The wide receiver room it's got to keep Wan'Dale Robinson if you really want. But honestly, even Kadarius Toney can be on the trading block.
I disagree.
Too injury prone.
I think that the Giants just have to be smarter.
They need to completely turn their wide receiver room around. And quite honestly, I think they've already started. The amount of shifting that they've done with signing bonuses, they've given more people more money up front. That way it's less per year. So they have more room at the salary cap. Go out there and get good wide receivers.
That's fine. All right. Getting to that time. I got to head to work. It's unfortunate. This podcast will be posted Wednesday. I have off tomorrow. I will put this into YouTube tonight so it can, be all processed, ready to go. All audio platforms. If you are listening right now, thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just give us a little bit of, just tell us how you're feeling today, maybe. Be like, hey, bro, I'm doing good today. This podcast helped me out. Or, hey, maybe do this a little bit differently. We appreciate anything, any kind of communication that we have with our fans. We really do appreciate it. We would like to thank you guys for your continuous support on the podcast. We know growth's not exponential. We're not going to get up and up and up and up and up every episode, but we do really appreciate everybody who does watch. And the views might not be exactly where we want them, but they're getting higher and higher, and the watch duration's getting higher and higher. And it's nice to see, man. It really makes us feel like the work that we're putting in is appreciated by you guys. So we appreciate that. If you're listening on audio platforms, please rate us 5 stars on everything that you're listening in. All of our social links will be linked in the description. At DanStuder_ on Twitter for Dan, at DJ_Gulix on Twitter for me, at DNTTS Podcast for our podcast on Twitter and TikTok. And I believe that covers all the bases. And we will be back for our pick'ems, for some take or toss, for this, that, the third, maybe. We'll figure it out. Well, we're just going to have some fun. And that being said, have a good day, everybody, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.